name's Georgia. We've got Josh, Matty, Nina, Liv, John, Lisa, and Chris. We're going to be doing a podcast. Well, we've got some topics inside this cup, so we're going to just pick a topic, see where it goes. Do you want to pick one?
Yeah.
You can start off.
Let's just hope I can read whoever's writing it is. Oh my god.
Oh, that's a big one.
Consequences of addiction: physical, mentally, emotionally, family, loved ones getting hair amends.
Someone's been doing step one.
That's a big one, isn't it? That's a lot of steps in one.
Yeah.
Can we not take one out of it?
What's the consequences of addiction, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's all of them. Like everybody experiences them all. It's whether like what point you're at now, because everyone will experience one of them or most of them at different points.
I think the consequences, in regards to what brought me to the end of my addiction to where I couldn't go on much further, was the consequences internally, I think, for me.
Yeah, it was.
Do you know what I mean? Because I lost everything 100 times over. Do you know what I mean? I lost my family, I lost where I lived, I lost my friends, I lost the ability to fucking get out of bed in the morning, my mental health, all that kind of stuff. But like the consequences of like the shame, the guilt, and all that where it talks about physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, all ties into one. Do you know what I mean? And it can happen now.
And I think with the drugs were made, because I was blocking so much stuff out that I didn't know how to deal with, it was hard to know that it was affecting me mentally, spiritually. It was just only when I was at a point where I couldn't take anymore, and that must have been, mentally just enough, and spiritually enough, to the point where it's the surrender again, to help God, let God help you through things, do you know what I mean? Because you are spiritually dead as well, because you haven't got that connection with God when you're in addiction, have you? It's it just strips you of everything.
I think you've also we have a failure to accept that it's a problem.
Yeah.
That was for me. I didn't see I had a problem. As many people told me, it was, well, what do you know?
Well,
I'm
when
fine.
people used to think it was the drugs and it would be anything but the drugs, what
Yeah.
was the problem? If that was different in my life, I wouldn't be using so much. Or if that was, if I had a good job, or if people were nicer to me, or if people didn't try and stop me from doing what I wanted to do, if people weren't getting in my way, it was the last point of call was like, could it be the drugs? Are the drugs causing all these problems?
You say, drugs are just
You've
a
got a
symptom.
really good analogy for this. I've heard it before.
You say that drugs are just a symptom of what
Yeah.
Well, that's what I've come to realise about me. I can only speak about me. I don't know what it was like for other people. I take what people say at face value. Do you know what I mean? I know for me, it was drugs was a symptom of what I suffered with. Do you know what I mean? And in regards to that topic, like the consequences, like of addiction, like my consequences around addiction was that it turned me into someone I didn't want to be. The way I felt, I didn't want to be feeling. The way I thought, I didn't want to be thinking. The people I was hanging around with, I didn't want to be hanging around with. The things I was doing, I didn't want to be doing. Do you know what I mean? So I was baffled, confused, disappointed with myself. You know what I mean? I was living without hope. When I say this, I don't say this lightly. Society had diagnosed me a hopeless case. You know what I mean? There was no hope for me. Even within the family home, they'd lost hope. So when I said I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna fucking learn this, he was just like, okay. He didn't believe me. Do you know what I mean?
And I think it comes down to that understanding again of the people around, like it says in the topic, the people around you. Maybe now it's being seen as an illness, but I know at the time, as I'd been going through stuff, they just thought, I didn't care, you know, and that was the total opposite of what it was. I cared too much, you know, and it was like I didn't know how to deal with it. You know, I didn't know how to be any different and not use drugs to, you know, like give me that oomph to be able to cope with life, you know what I mean? Which in the end, that's all it
I am the
did.
complete opposite to that. I mean, like, I didn't care. I didn't give a fuck about who I was hurting when I was using, as long as I had my drugs. I was like, I didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
My mum used to always say, if there was a bag of cat and someone had a gun up to my head and said, right, if you want this bag of cat, you've got to shoot your mum in your head, you'd have fucking done it. And I said, yeah, I know I would.
So
I would have sacrificed anything and anyone.
Let me challenge that,
to get a bag of drugs.
because I think sometimes we need like to be challenged. So imagine that you're at home and your mum's downstairs and your mum's saying to you like, please do not leave this house, you know what I mean, because I know you're going to use, you know what I mean. The chances are that you will leave to go and use, right? And then you use, and then the drugs wear off.
And that's when it kicks in.
and then you're going
That's
back
it.
home. So when you're going back home, do you not care about what?
Afterwards, yeah.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
beforehand
So-
and when I'm using
Oh, when I'm
Yeah,
in
so-
the drugs,
so-
that's,
so
I
that's-
don't care at
so-
all, but...
Well, certainly. So that's the drive in it. That's the obsession in it. So a mental obsession is a thought that overrides every other thought. Do you know what I mean?
But like towards the end of my using, there wasn't a period of time where I didn't have drugs and I wasn't off my head.
Yeah.
Like I was off my head 24/7, like literally. So towards the end of my last relapse, I really didn't care.
Yeah.
I
So
didn't.
addiction turns into someone
yeah.
we didn't want to be.
And like I really love what Georgia said before. Like the consequences of my using when I was 21 externally were far worse than what they was in my last relapse, but internally was the fucking lowest I'd ever been.
Yeah.
Like inside of me, like I hated myself, I was disgusted. I just got to nearly 12 months clean, how I would have done all of this stuff to myself and my family all over again. Like, and that kept me away from the room for so long, so I was like, oh, and Nina knows, because I was speaking to her, I was like, oh, everyone's going to be ashamed of me, everyone's going to hate me, like, how am I going to go back to...
Thinking,
It
that
is.
thinking, and what you just
It's
said
so
then,
twisted.
not having the ability to follow through with what you want to follow through with.
Mm.
I did it this morning. I was building a doll's house for Remy this morning, and I got halfway through, and I was like, I'll finish that later, because it was just like my body was just like, it's too much. This you can't do it, and I had to literally force myself to finish building this doll's house because my head will tell me you can't do it. Don't do it.
So
And I
by the way.
still have. I was
looks really
buzzing
good.
when I got it done, but I still have that thing in my head that goes, don't do it, go and get in bed.
Yeah.
So
Don't do it.
I had this
Hide away.
conversation yesterday with someone, and it's about how we build up like resilience within
Doing
our
things you don't wanna do.
actions, and there's loads and loads of different ways how you can do that. So like going to the gym or going out running and just like going that extra mile or them extra few exercises or whatever, do you know what I mean?
It's
Because
removed for me.
your mind, your mind will give up like way before the body.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And the more like you challenge that thinking and you know like the more resilience you can be. I feel like something's going on here.
I need
He's
to
whispering to me, and I
No,
don't know what
I
he's
was
saying.
saying about picking another one and getting another one ready.
Well,
I think we need to end this
we're gonna like wrap this one up because we're gonna all get changed and we're gonna do another one. I'm gonna get changed.
I have no ability to
I'm gonna
get
swap
rid of
clothes.
you guys want me to sit
Well,
here and-
yeah.
I'm gonna swap
Well, thanks
clothes.
for
Can I borrow
watching.
your cardigan?
I hope someone got something for that.
No.
If give us a like, share, and subscribe. And if you wanted to send us anything that you'd like to hear about addiction, put it in
And
the
recovery.
comments.
Or recovery.
Put it in the comments, and we'll.
No one ever
give it a
does,
go.
but you could be the first.
Never asked anyone to do it before, so yeah, you could be the first. But thanks for watching.